The question is the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Ryde.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to support the motion and acknowledge the importance of this local debate on what is a global issue. The tapestry of modern society is interwoven by social media. It's how we connect, share ideas, and learn about the world around us. Yet as a younger MP, I often wonder whether we are doing enough to protect our youngest citizens as technologies advance and social media platforms manifest. Most members, like most people in our communities, have heard terrible human stories about the dangers of being online. However, this motion should not be and must not be a takedown of new technology, the internet, or the proliferation of social media. Rather, it should be a cautionary moment for reflection, considered debate, and thoughtful yet hasty reform. Reform that captures our instincts for technology and social advancement with the safety and protection of children at its core. I believe that the Social Media Summit represented the start of this process and hope it will encourage members to listen to the parents, grandparents, educators and young people who have expressed concerns, offered ideas and shared experiences about the impact of social media on their mental health, self-esteem and social skills. I'm particularly grateful to the Leader of the Opposition and the Member for Vaucluse who initiated this discussion some months ago. In response to that debate, I spent the last few months engaging with residents in the Ryde electorate about social media and have been overwhelmed by the response. It was clear that the vast majority of people who chose to engage support an increase in age either outright or with conditions. These respondents were particularly concerned about the mental health impacts of social media use among young people and noted a stark increase in observed cases of anxiety and depression. They also raised issues of cyberbullying and harassment and the increased exposure to inappropriate content for young audiences. Underpinning these concerns was a belief that not all young minds were mature enough to handle the pressures of social media and that as a society, we needed to do more to address the negative consequences of social media for children's safety. Of those who expressed doubt about raising the age, I note that those respondents were generally more critical of whether it would be an effective policy solution as opposed to holding a philosophical objection. Theirs was a desire for greater education, coupled with the need to maintain open communication with young people about social media. I agree with both points and believe that they should be incorporated as part of any reform advanced by this Parliament. In fact, the lack of education around social media is often cited as a concern for those with elderly relatives who themselves are overrepresented as victims of online hacking and scams. The reality is, social media is a vital tool for supporting learning and social connections, and it is necessary that at whatever age a person begins to use the platforms, that they are equipped to do so properly. If we land this education piece, increasing the age to 16 is one way of ensuring we protect young people while helping them develop the resilience needed to handle the complexities of the online space. When we first debated this issue as a Parliament, I remarked that young people are much smarter than us and will likely find ways around any imposed age restrictions. I maintain that view today and in many respects admire the innovation and tenacity of Generation Z and Alpha. They give me great hope for the future. To those concerned about this roadblock, I say this. It should not be this Parliament's role to try and legislate for every outlier and externality. Our job is to try and do as much good as we can with what we have when we are able. To do that, we must resist calls to do nothing when only imperfect solutions exist. The pursuit of perfection is a very noble cause, but it should never devolve into the enemy of progress. That's why I am supportive of calls to raise the age. There is a considerable cohort of young people who, by virtue of an age limit existing, would respect that restriction. I also believe it will help parents and teachers in their efforts to enforce limits and educate their children and students. Young people shouldn't have to navigate these waters alone, and I believe we owe it to them to get our heads around their reality, to set the guardrails today that will empower them to do the same for their children tomorrow. I commend the motion and look forward to working constructively with all members, policy experts and the local Ryde community on a more fulsome, policy discussion.